It smells like you're in your grandmother's closet. But your grandmother's closet doesn't look like this. Holy cow. Man. Well, we figured out a good temporary solution using our extension ladder to get up into the camper, at least until we get down to North Carolina and figure out the next step. Literally, the next step. We've enjoyed our last 2 months in Michigan, but it's time to start heading south. As we're traveling through Ohio, we decided to retry our Harvest Host membership. We stayed at Brewdog DogHouse, just south of Columbus, Ohio. They had ample parking for almost any size rig. And for those of you with pets, there was a large dog park on the side of the hotel. We enjoyed their local brews, had an appetizer for dinner. The food was okay. The pizza was a little light on toppings, but still a good place to enjoy the beautiful weather and people watch. We're staying at a Harvest Host, and Carrie apparently didn't like him dumping his garbage in there. While I'm not a fan of confrontation, we've seen our fair share of trashed up places, so please excuse our more aggressive approach this one time. We wanted to keep this area clean for future Harvest Host patrons.
In 1,000 feet, your destination will be on the right.
We made it to our next location at Hocking Hills State Park, but got there a little bit too early to check in at the campground. They're fairly strict about the 3 p.m. check-in time, so we decided to park at the visitor center, check it out, and try a short hike to get a feel for this park. That's really pretty. It's a very busy park. We decided on a short but very popular trail called Old Man's Cave. This is a short 1.2 mile trail, but there are lots of steps to get down and back into the gorge. If you only have a few hours at Hocking Hills State Park, we'd highly recommend the Old Man's Cave Trail. The steps and multiple bridges made getting around through this area easy, while also not detracting from the beauty of the sandstone rock walls. We were here at the end of August, so there was no water in the creeks or at the waterfalls. While pretty by itself, I'm sure it's spectacular in the spring.
So animals can be there.
Oh, is that why it's there?
Mm-hmm.
That makes a ton of sense. This is cool. That's some killer roots right there. Oh no, that's so cool. That's an awesome find. Do it again. Do it again. This is a one-way trail, but seems like you got a lot of time, even though they are trying to filter folks through. Again, it's a trail, so you can go at your own pace, which ours today is kind of slow. This does remind me of a couple of other places in the Midwest, like Shades State Park in Indiana and Starved Rock in Illinois. A lot of the similar sandstone structures. We liked that you can walk from the campground to the visitor center, so no packing
We'll
up
see.
and driving to a trailhead. Today's plan was to touch on several other hikes at the park, but loop them all together. Sounds like a
are
great
we?
plan, right?
Okay.
First, we'll go back through a part of the Old Man's Cave Loop Trail to get on to the Lower Falls Trail.
We were lucky to get out of the crowds and on to, this is the Lower Falls Trail.
Yep.
Oh yeah, lots of steps.
Yeah, you didn't go there.
One of the cool things here is the scent of cedar. So it smells like you're in your grandmother's closet. But your grandmother's closet doesn't look like this. Look at that sun just peeping through. Wow. Gotta love morning hikes. That is cool. You get 'em, tree. Stay growing. Greenery. This is cool.
I really enjoyed the Cedar Falls portion of this trail. It was quieter than the Old Man's Cave, and you could really enjoy nature. They also had a few minor bouldering areas, which was a surprise. We should have stopped at the Cedar Falls parking lot, but instead we went up to Ash Caves. I don't think we got the same bang for our mileage buck on this portion, so we'll share the best option in just a moment.
Okay, I'm at the Ash Cave. What is this? This Ash Cave Fire Tower. I couldn't do it. I got about halfway. Gary, on the other hand, yeah, he decided to do it.
Well, I thought I could get up into the fire tower, but they got it blocked off. And that stinks. I wonder what it'll look like inside. Well, anyway, but at least I made it to the top up here. This is my view from up here. I wanted to make sure they see what a chicken looks like. But the view is gorgeous up here. Alright, time for the 80-foot trek down. Yep.
Eight and a half miles in. I think we may have overdone it on this one. Little too much, a little too early, but we're trying to make it through.
It's a stretch goal.
Yeah, like a stretch my legs out of sorts goal.
If you have a day to hike, we recommend this loop. It starts with the Old Man Cave hike and hops over to Cedar Falls and back on the Gorge Overlook Trail, all in about 7 miles. This has some elevation and minor rock scrambling, a suspension bridge, and beautiful views with most of the trail by yourself. We don't recommend adding that 3-mile hike to Ash Cave. It's better to drive there and do that short loop, unless you're just looking for added miles.
Yep. 2.5 more miles. Holy cow. Babe, how many miles? What are we talking? Just ran out of water.
10.1.
A little over 10 miles. Okay.
10 and a quarter miles.
Okay. Oh, I am friggin' dead. All right. We will see you another day when we actually have energy.
Bye.
Bye. Well, we've just left Hocking Hills State Park in Ohio here. We did a really poor job of kind of giving an overview of that campground, but it is huge. They do have a variety of different sites, anywhere from no amenities to full hookups. It is huge. Again, lots of campers there, but it seems to be, you have a reasonable amount of space in between each of the campsites. At least I thought so.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. The bonus part of it, obviously, is you are right by all of the hikes that are in Hocking Hills, which are definitely worth it. A worthwhile stop if you are in Lower Ohio. Do you have any comments?
No, I'm going to try and drive because
Yeah.
roads all over the place.
Yep.
Today is a very exciting day. We're heading to a place that's been on my bucket list for a long time.
Holy cow. Man. Wow. I don't know where to park. Wow. Wow. Oh. We are currently at Trans-Allegheny Insane Asylum, basically, in West
She's
Virginia.
getting admitted tomorrow.
He wishes. He wishes. We came for a paranormal tour. They also have historical tours here. Very neat, very interesting.
Yes.
Definitely worth coming. I wish we had time to do an historical tour as well. And during the months of September and October, they do nighttime paranormal tours, which I thought we were doing today, but I'm off by an entire month. So, yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Nestled in the hills of West Virginia is the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, an imposing structure that spans 240,000 square feet. Construction of this building began in 1858, promising an era of humane treatment for the mentally ill, and was specifically designed to create a therapeutic environment, providing natural lighting and ventilation. Construction was significantly impacted by the Civil War, where the incomplete building was seized and used as a hospital and barracks. The main building was finally completed in 1881 and was intended to accommodate 250 patients. Severe overcrowding occurred almost immediately, since there was a broad criteria for admission: patients with varying levels of mental illness, along with people with physical limitations, drug addicts, and alcoholics. At its peak in 1950, there were almost 2,600 patients. We went in on a Tuesday afternoon and took the paranormal tour. We were lucky to have the 90-minute tour all to ourselves. We walked through several of the wards, listening to stories of experiences on previous tours and a bit of history about the patients who have passed on in this building. One such story was in this wing. While workers were cleaning this area, they stacked these chairs along the side of the wall. When they came back the following morning, they found that all of the chairs somehow made their way back into a group therapy circle in the middle of the room. They restacked the chairs, only to find the chairs rearranged into the same circle the next morning. After this occurring several more times, they chose to leave the chairs in the circle. We also learned that children born at the asylum were also committed, since mental illness was considered a hereditary problem. The marks in this windowsill were from children watching baseball games across the road, etching the score in with their fingernails. The girl in this room, though, had died from cancer and is still said to roam this wing. The feel during the day was a little heavy depending on the ward, but I'm sure night is a whole other story. The only thing I experienced during our tour was an unmistakable smell of roses in one room on the women's ward. By the time I mentioned it to Gary to come over, the scent was gone. According to our guide, that is related to a particular woman who passed on this ward. As we made our way up to the top floor, we were told that regular interactions with those who still roam these halls are common. The top floor housed mainly alcoholic men who tend to be more eager to interact with the living. Gifts are left out based upon their personalities. However, the most disturbing story isn't a story at all. It's the history of Dr. Walter Jackson Freeman, who performed over 770 lobotomies at Trans-Allegheny. He originally used an ice pick to pierce the prefrontal cortex, then followed up with electroshock therapy to pacify patients. This story is both fascinating and horrifying. If you have Amazon Prime Video, make sure to check out the Lore series, Season 1, which talks about Dr. Freeman's narcissistic behavior and the brutal effects of this $25 procedure at the time. If you're interested in history or the paranormal, this is an overwhelmingly fantastic place to visit, and we'd highly recommend.
So where have you been?
So, I was enjoying the insane asylum.
But now we have to figure out where we're going to stay.
Yeah, because we can't stay here because they won't let us in.
We're that sane.
We're really normal.
Continue on Old Route 33 east for 2 miles.
Our original plan, which was about to change dramatically, was to boondock along Route 33 in West Virginia, eventually making it to the Shenandoah National Park. But today's high temps are near 100 degrees, and I'm looking for something that might have hookups to make sleeping a little bit easier tonight.
Stop. That will not fit. We cannot fit underneath that.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Let's
Let's have you get off.
look.
I don't think we can.
Okay, hold on. Not have a height on it, but it looks pretty damn close. Oh, maybe we are. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah.
Some days I can gauge height well, and some days, like today, not so much. But either way, we got through the bridge unscathed and found our new campsite for the next few days. I'm so glad we found this National Forest campsite. We stayed at Site 26, which was fairly level for West Virginia standards, and right next to the bathhouse. In addition to having electricity, our site included a magical gnome home, which was just adorable. So we just left our stay at Stuart Campground. This is near Stuart Recreation Area in West Virginia.
great place to stop for a day or two. They have electricity, which is the main reason we went there. It's been in the upper 90s and we were just dying. It was great to stay here for a few days, use their facilities to take a shower and feel nice before we continue on our road south to North Carolina. It's like riding a roller coaster.
As we zigzagged down Route 33 in West Virginia, we decided that the Labor Day weekend was not the most ideal time to go hiking or biking near Shenandoah National Park. The weekend was calling for quite a bit of rain, and it was still going to be in the upper 90s. So we decided to head to North Carolina a little earlier so we can enjoy air conditioning while mooch-docking at Gary's parents'. Instead, we found a halfway point and found another harvest host in that area.
Your destination is on the left.
Alrighty, so what I will do is drop me off here, you go over by the barrels and turn around, and then I will find out where they want us to park.
We chatted with some locals that evening, shared a few beers, and had a pretty darn good pizza. But the best part was enjoying an active thunderstorm that whole night. I think that about wraps this episode up. Thanks for stopping by, and we really appreciate you supporting us by watching our videos. We'll see you next time as we share some projects that we're doing during our North Carolina visit. Until then, leave every place you visit just a little better, and we'll see you on the next trail.